Good morning. Welcome to my garden, Lilac Hill. I have put a bench in the back corner of the Hosta Enclosure just for a place when the tour is on June the 8th that someone could come and sit back here and admire the plants that are growing in the raised beds from a different perspective. I don't know how happy Sum and Substance Hosta is going to be when the leaves fully open to share its space with a bench. The bench might get crowded out because this hosta does go side to side, measures all about 7.5 feet full span. But isn't that a beautiful plant? I'm just going to stand up. A little bit of dew on the leaves. We've been having rain, so that's great. I feel that plants respond better growth-wise when they have rainwater versus the hose. And I have a number of watering systems that I have. Over there, my messy compost area, I have rain barrels off the downspouts of Terry's workshop. And then the new tan one I showed last week off the front storage room. And I have one off the blue building, blue potting shed, and I have a new one that I'll share. And then I also want to share at the very end my surprise. But today it's just a walk around. I want to capture the big rhododendron before it finishes blooming. They go over so quickly. So in here, just very, generally speaking, I showed the macadamia. Isn't that pretty? What a leaf. It's a nice little flower too. Macadamia. I think this might be a strawberry arbutus. My cousin gave it to me because it wasn't growing at her house. So we'll see what it does. It's a cute little shrub for in here. And I'm very proud of this gem, koi. I grew this from a pack of seeds. Let's just turn around here. I still have to do my hanging baskets. Well, they're not hanging baskets, they're planters. And over the years, I've always done them in geraniums. But I have recently potted up a little window box with petunias. So I might do a petunias in here this year. Also with my clematis, I've had a little bit more success with my buds for the plant to set bud, and it's definitely in flower. This is couirse, and it has never bloomed, and I think I was pruning it incorrectly. Monty Don has a saying, if it blooms before June, don't prune. And the Will Goodwin got the same treatment. I didn't prune it very hard, and I'm being rewarded with flowers. Unfortunately, with clematis in my area, they don't really like it. I don't think they're getting enough sun with the trees. They're under a tree line, and I just feel they could use more sun. And then as they put energy into blooms, they start to lose their leaves and they go brown. Oh, I was out this morning battling my neighbor's blackberry bush. Started to grow onto my side at the end of the driveway, and I thought, no way, you keep it on your side. I was wearing gloves, but obviously one got me. So here are the planters. There's 3 planters. This one takes 2 4-inch pots. The one at the back takes 3 4-inch pots for a total of 7 plants. So I'll have to decide. I got the koi liners in. There's half pie plates in there for catching the water. So let's just stand here, and then I want to share one last thing in here. Somebody has decided to finally come to the party. So this is a nice line of color and texture and form. Not a lot of flowers in here, but it's really interesting with just the heuchera colors. This is Palace Purple, very old plant. These raised boxes are getting all new compost in the fall. Not removed, just topped up. They're really low, but I can't do it before the tour. The plants are too far along. There's penstemon, geraniums, phlox, and this Jacob's ladder. It's pronounced palmolium. I have to look at my other tag. This one is golden feathers. And the hosta I got from Jack is coming up, and Celine. Hosta I got from Celine looks beautiful. And this one is called Stairway to Heaven. Isn't this pretty? Let's just have a look at the tag. I can pronounce it correctly. Yeah, Palmanium. Palmanium. Stairway to Heaven. And so that one is something, I think it's called Golden Feathers, the other one. Hosta Patriot. And then on that side is the maidenhair fern, the pink fantasy clematis blooms a little bit later. Billy de Leon, hopefully I said that right. And it's a little bit later bloomer, but I'm happy with these other two. Hakuakan definitely has flowers, even if they're way up there, that's okay. And Will Goodwin too has set flowers. So coming around over here, oh, my wild geranium has a bee on it. That's nice to see. The Nancy, I think this is Nancy Evans. Yes, Nancy Evans at Rhododendron put on growth, but no blooms. So I think it's just going to take time. I'm leaving it in here though. Yeah, glad you found some food. Rose's Prairie Princess, kind of the apple amongst the oranges for the colors. It's hot pink, but it's a good shrub rose. Okay. Oh, my bleeding heart. Looks nice. I think this one is pistachio. Or is that? Oh, no, this is something lime. Twist of lime. Heuchera. Another Celine Hosta. Look at the debris that falls from the trees. The cedars are quite messy. Couirse. My dollar store hydrangea. And look at this. Solar flare still doing okay. My big arm out of the way. And an Annabelle ball hydrangea. Oh, and this is a little planting of the wee hosta. Just for interest. Oh, back there, look at where the rocks go. Gambian baskets. Best buy ever for a rocky property. And look who's decided to join the party. That's a little mouse ears hosta in there. These plants won't even be seen when the Sum and Substance opens. So I'll have to probably move the pots down or into a different location. That's the beauty of pots. I think it looks quite nice in there for the tour. And this plant came back. That's a bug bane. That's been gone for a few years and it just decided to found its way back. So that's nice. But look who decided to come to the party. My Taylor's Perfection Camellia finally opened. I find this plant to be a little bit, well, kind of a snob. It does what it wants when it wants. It is in no rush to give me any display. But at least it didn't have bud drop. And I was in here moving the bench and I thought to myself, gosh, don't bump a bud. Pretentious, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. She's a little pretentious, but happy. I can bend one forward here and show her off. There she is, finally. I'm gonna bend her too much. Last thing I need is have the flower fall off. Taylor's Perfection in bud, or bloom, in bloom. Finally opening. Is that a pretty pink? Good. Okay, so one last thing to see in here is my little window box. I'm not big on annuals. It's mainly a time thing. I don't have time to care for them properly. I'm tripping on my bench. So I did the petunia called Bee's Knees, lobelia, potato vine. Going with the yellow theme of the window. I'm trying to get my artwork up on the window or on the walls. So I've got to find all my parts and pieces, get everything nice. And then there's a Virginia in here that was sulking on the deck. It was too hot. So I think the Hosta Enclosure is looking pretty good. I want to share the big rhododendron, another giant plant, on the other side of the property. We'll go down by the cherry tree garden. I'm no longer calling it the chicken run garden. It's far too nice now to be called chicken run garden. It's going to be called the cherry tree garden. My annuals are hanging in. A little deadheading and feed helps. Like I said, annuals have never been something I've been big on. It's mainly just because I'm still working full time, trying to care for everything. I've got enough to do caring for the perennials. There's a load of bark mulch now will be our next plan before the tour. And we can get all the beds just lightly dusted with bark mulch, help to keep the weeds down. There's a little display of tulips. They're basically sitting ducks for the deer, but the deer don't seem to be coming into the garden very much anymore. I think there's just too many obstacles and structures for them. And the peonies, another probably 10 days and they'll be opening. And I know the black one is Black Knight. And I looked at the tag on this one the other morning to remember what they were, what this one was. Oh, there's her tag. Silver Cloud. Oops. I was very inspired by Klaus Dalby and his tulip pots that he puts out in front of his property every year. Paula Fay, still looking really good. And I moved the Joseph Green geranium forward. So, yeah, and look how big everything's getting. And there looks like it's sunflowers coming out in the big pot. And this is the lilac lavender lady. Gorgeous. And then as I pan around, just on the corner of the sun deck, you can start to see the pink of the big rhododendron. And I did get my rockery planted, so we can glance at that quickly. I just wanted to add some vegetable pots. One's kale, spinach, just for novelty for the tour. I like the way that they're kind of blending in, these plants. They're sort of, and these Sicilian garlic plants will open soon to give the bees food. The bees go berserk for them. Oh yeah, and I don't want to show my surprise. I have a surprise. When will I film? I'll have to film underneath the deck. But it is cleaned up. We took all the wood away. I want to end with my surprise. Here's my water barrel, new installation. This was what I got for my 40th. We celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary at the end of April. And Terry said, what do you want? I said, I want another rain barrel to catch the runoff off the deck. And I'm not kidding. This is how much rain comes off the deck. It's almost full. It's because this is where they angled the deck to stream to this corner. So now I've got another option for rain. There's the newly named cherry tree garden filling in beautifully. My hedge of lemon cypress is fine and growing. A lot of weeds down there. I think it's because it is chicken based from having chickens on the land for so many years. But the plants are growing. But I just got to get in there and hoe and weed and stay on top of it. This area here still needs to be cleaned up. We have some little fences or something to go along here. And I still have to do my step down. That's why there's bricks on the lawn. So that's my last bit of hard landscaping. Some kind of a step down with the hose to kind of get into this area. Look at this lilac. This lilac is old. It's full of lichen. I think it's one of the original plants to the property. But as I get closer to the rhododendron, And I have to say, over half of this rhododendron blooming is not even on my side, it's on the neighbor. So I don't really get the full display. But as we get closer, you can hear the bees. And it's not even fully open yet, so that's nice. And look at all its new bright green growth. So this plant is estimated to be over 60 years old and still growing. That's a lot of nice greenery on there. I like seeing that bright green. Isn't that nice? I'm probably more excited for the greenery than I am for the flowers opening. And this rhododendron sheds its finished flowers. I don't do any of that breaking off. They fall to the ground on their own with time as new growth pushes them off. Never been pruned. I won't prune it. They work so hard to go into the flowers. It's a really nice sight of spring, really is. And I'll just stand back now that I'm on the lawn. Then I'll share the front bed that I finished waiting for bark mulch. I'm very happy. Slightly different color palette to the rhododendron, but who cares? Wolfenii euphorbia is huge. I think it likes the poor soil down here. Well, I do amend it with my compost, but this is definitely needs amending constantly. And there's another shot of the big rhododendron compared to the house. You can see big plant. That one window is the living room window, and I look over top of the plant, which is so interesting, so beautiful to see this rhododendron from the second story. It's almost like I could step out the window and walk on the cloud of flowers. So I just want to share the red rhododendron because she's just finishing, but this is my neighbor's rhododendron because that is the basically right behind the lilac is where it changes to the other property. So we do share space. I take care of it for her. And but the red rhododendron too, very beautiful in its color. I don't need a red rhododendron because I have my neighbors. There's barberry and the columbine. There were a number of lilacs on the side of the road. A man was putting in a retaining wall and he had lilac with root on it, and I said, what are you gonna do with those? And I said, I'll come back. And he said, take them. So I got like 6 lilac rooted plants, and I see this one is in bloom. So they're just the basic mauve, but for free off the side of the road, they were just laying there, and he said, take them. So barberry, oh, even the barberry's got bees on it. Look at the color of the flowers. They're lovely. Upright St. John's wort. These were the little box plants that I moved from the front to here to kind of outline this path. And there's smoke bush, more geum, and that's melting fire. And there's sachet heuchera, that's melting fire. That's blackbird euphorbia there. Again, euphorbia is such a good plant for my area. I seem to do well with it. Then these are new barberry. I can't remember their names. And the smoke bush too was one I got clearance last fall. And this is a new bed now, so it needs to fill in, but I like the barberry, and the boxwood have similar foliage. And there's room for more. And I put the bricks in here kind of to cut the bricks play up on the color. There's a huge clover, but I'm leaving it because I think it's really pretty. I don't care if it's a weed. And then the foxgloves are a little bit sacrificial. And hopefully they give me some flowers. And the big Onyx Odyssey hellebore gets this sort of dark purple flower. This is a really old plant. This goes back to the late 90s. Okay, I want to end with my surprise, which just happens to be down here. Oh, look at listen to the bees as we pass by. This is a corner bed, and a lot of these plants in here are white, but look at the size of the astrantia. I may not even need to stake these astrantias. Oh, and this is where I put the Tom Thumb yarrow and liatris, and this is, I think these are called Afterglow Weigelia, but aren't they a pretty color? And they've got fall aster in here. Oh, look, a baby. Maybe move that one. Yeah, I'll figure out where to put it. Choice the plant. The Mexican orange, isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful scent. So as I pass by the choice, you'll start to see my new surprise. This is a bit of a long video, so I hope you're still hanging in there. There's just a lot to see. The rockery all got planted up. Oh, should I back up and do a... And here's my rockery. Looks really nice. I can't believe how this campanula came through the winter. The Stixon's gold. Like, just never even phased it. Yeah. Oh, and I made a sign for this Rubus calycinoides. It's actually a creeping raspberry, also called a Yushan raspberry. So I was really pleased to get that. I think it's really interesting. And this plant's called Brass Buttons. I think it starts with an L. Yeah, so I just put a bunch of different forms, textures, heights, shapes. There's the back of the glass house with the beautiful euphorbia. Gosh, everything looks nice. I'm going to have to stop videoing because I'm going to be here all day. This garden looks really, really good. And as I pan around, there it is. My new surprise. We put in a gate to the wildlife area. This gate was bought specifically to go at the top of the driveway to tie in with Terry's panels. But the ground is so hard, and we've got all kinds of lines up there now with electricity, and then when you get closer to the house, there's drain tile. So I thought, why not use it down here? So Terry worked really hard. The ground wasn't too bad, and now I have a gate. And that's a sign. This sign is from Wonder Prints. And the established year is the year we moved on to the property, 2018. And it says, "Pardon the weeds. I'm feeding the bees. Do not disturb." And this will be an area where over time I won't really go down there, because that'll be where the animals can all just have their nests, and snakes can be in the grass, and I don't even mind the blackberries because they're going to give me some fruit in a couple months. All right, well, I think that is good. I have shown a lot this morning, so thank you for watching.